I've never been the type to scare easily, but what happened that night changed the way I think about safety forever. It started like any other Friday evening. I'd gotten home late from work, made myself some dinner, and settled down on the couch to binge watch a series. It was raining, one of those heavy downpours that pounds on the windows and makes everything outside seem so distant, almost otherworldly. By the time it was nearing midnight, the storm was at full force. I remember thinking it was the perfect night to just stay inside, cozy and dry. But then, something strange happened. It started with a knock on my door. I froze. Who knocks on someone's door in the middle of a storm like this, and at midnight? I live alone in a small, quiet neighborhood where unexpected visitors are rare, especially at night. My first thought was maybe a neighbor needed help, so I turned down the TV and listened. There was nothing at first. Maybe it was just the wind rattling something outside. But then it came again. A distinct, deliberate knock. Slow, almost rhythmic. I grabbed my phone, holding it tight as I walked toward the door. I didn't turn on the porch light, figuring if it was someone in trouble, they'd speak up. I peered through the peephole. Nothing. Just the dark, blurry shape of my front yard, rain pounding down in sheets. No one was there. A sense of relief washed over me, thinking maybe it was just a fluke, a tree branch or something. I was about to head back to the couch when I heard it again. 3 knocks. Louder this time. I felt a chill creep down my spine. I looked through the peephole again. This time, there was a figure standing just beyond the porch light's reach. I could barely make them out, but they were standing completely still, facing my door. I hesitated, every instinct screaming at me not to open it. Instead, I called out, "Hello, can I help you?" No response. The figure didn't move. They just stood there, soaked by the rain, unmoving. My heart started pounding. I don't know why, but something about this wasn't right. I took a step back from the door, hoping they'd go away. I waited, but they didn't leave. Another knock, slow and deliberate, as if they knew it would unnerve me. I backed up, my mind racing. I considered calling the police, but what would I even say? Some stranger was standing outside my door, knocking in the rain? I didn't have much to go on, and for all I knew, it could have been a prank or someone lost. But deep down, I knew something was off. I decided to grab the kitchen knife just in case. I crept back to the living room and sat on the couch, keeping my eyes on the door. The knocking stopped, but the silence was worse. The house felt different, like something was watching me. After a few minutes, I heard it again. Not a knock this time, but something scraping against the side of the house. Slow, dragging sounds, like someone was walking around the perimeter, dragging something against the siding. My heart was racing. I stayed completely still, clutching the knife, listening to the sound as it moved along the wall, toward the back of the house. That's when it hit me, my back door. The lock on the sliding glass door had been broken for weeks. I kept forgetting to fix it. I didn't think anyone would ever try to come in that way. But now, I jumped up and ran to the kitchen, my socks slipping on the tile as I reached the back door. I pressed myself against the wall, trying to stay out of sight. I could see the sliding door from where I stood, and through the curtains, I saw the faint outline of someone standing right outside it. My breath caught in my throat. They stood there for what felt like an eternity. Then slowly, I watched the door slide open, inch by inch. I panicked, not knowing what to do. I thought about running, but where? Instead, I did the only thing I could think of. I pressed my back against the wall and held my breath, praying they wouldn't see me. The door slid fully open now, the sound of rain pouring in, mixing with the quiet of the house. The figure stepped inside. I couldn't see their face, only a tall, dark silhouette moving slowly through the kitchen. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure they could hear it. I gripped the knife tighter, but my hands were trembling. I didn't know what I was going to do if they found me. They stood in the middle of the kitchen, listening, like they were waiting for something, waiting for me to make a sound. I could barely breathe. I don't know how long I stood there, frozen in fear, but eventually they moved again, slowly walking toward the hallway that led to the rest of the house. As soon as they were out of the kitchen, I made my move. I ran. I bolted out the front door into the storm and down the street without looking back. I didn't stop until I reached my neighbor's house, pounding on their door until they answered. I was drenched, shaking, trying to explain what happened, but my words were a mess. They called the police for me. By the time the cops arrived, the intruder was long gone. They searched the house, but there was no sign of anyone. No footprints, no evidence of forced entry, nothing. It was as if no one had ever been there. But I know what I saw. To this day, I don't know who or what was outside my door that night. I changed all the locks, got security cameras, but even now, whenever it rains, I feel uneasy. Like someone's still out there waiting. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.